today we're gonna talk about guitar tuning. And the things that are interesting about it. So before we dive into that, we need to know a few things about intervals. So let's do a quick introduction. We'll need to use the perfect fourth interval, which is 5 semitones. So what this means? So this means that if you're going from A to B to C, then you have so here we have 2, it's a whole step, 2 semitones, then 1 semitone, then if you keep going to D, it is another 2 semitones. So this is 5 semitones now in total, and this is a perfect fourth. And we also need the major third interval, which is 4 semitones. Sorry, I missed the knee there. Having those now, we can move to the fretboard, which will be our base to understand how the whole thing works. Cool. Okay, that's our fretboard, and the standard guitar tuning is low E, high E, and A, D, G, B. Let's see what's the interval between the different strings on a guitar. So how many semitones these two are further apart? Going from E to F, then to G, then to A. This is going from E to A, and here we have 1 semitone, 2, and 2. So this is 5 in total, so that's a perfect fourth. And the same happens if you check all of them. The same happens for all these. So 5 semitones apart, with the exception of G and B. So in this case, going from G to B is a bit trickier because we have 2 semitones and then another 2. So in total we have 4 semitones, and that's a major third. That's a major third. So we see that as we go from G to B, there is that transition point where we'll, instead of jumping 5 semitones from one to the other string, we jump only 4 semitones. And as we'll see, this has impact on the different patterns we observe on the fretboard. Let's do another small thing on the side. Talk a bit about power chords. So what's a power chord? So power chords, we all use them, we all have seen them, what they are. So what they are a root node plus an interval. We'll introduce a new one, a perfect fifth interval in this case, which is 7 semitones. So if you have an A power chord, that means you need A as your root, and then you go 2 semitones, 1 semitone, 2, and 2. So in total we have 7 semitones, which is what we need. 7 semitones. Let's jump on the fretboard now and try to see how you can form that A power chord on your fretboard. Let's imagine that we skip some frets and we start from fret number 4, 5, etc. And this is our fretboard here. Cool. If that's our fretboard, if we put our finger there, then this is an A. Yeah, let's find an A there, and then let's explore the fretboard, specifically the second, the A string, and try to find there an E, which is what we need to form our power chord, and that's, as we said, 7 semitones away. So going from E to A string, doing that jump there, this is going to be 5 semitones. And then going 6, 7 to the right. So 7 semitones away, we expect to have an E. And then that's a power chord, but normally we also add on the guitar, we add the root note 1 octave higher, so that would be 5 semitones plus 5 semitones to go here, and then 1, 2, so that's 10 plus 2, 12, and 12 semitones is an octave, and that's where we find another A. So what do we have here? We have this shape for power chords, which we have seen before, I guess. Let's see how that transition point between the G and B strings affects the forming of power chords on the fretboard. So let's go from A now. Let's form the power chord now on D, G, and B strings. So from A, we jump to the G string here, which is 5 semitones, and then 6, 7. So that's my E again. And then let's find the A 1 octave higher. So we're looking for 12 semitones. So this time we're going from D to G string. So we're jumping 5 semitones and then another 4 this time, because this is the major third interval we mentioned, 4, and then we have 1, 2, 3, so that's 5 plus 4, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's where the A is going to be. And we see that the pattern now is slightly different because we need to accommodate that major third interval. We need to be 1 fret to the right compared to where we were before on the D string. And the same applies if we go further down to the G, B, E strings and we try to form a power chord there. So an E power chord. Let's try to do that. Let me remove these. Okay, so that's where we have our E. So if we wanted to go 7 semitones further down, so this is gonna be 4 here, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 4, 5, 9, in total 9, 10, 11, 12. So we see that we have an E power chord down there, but the pattern is similar to what we had initially, but everything is shifted 1 fret to the right. That's the impact of the standard guitar tuning on the patterns we observe on the fretboard. What things would look like if we, instead of using the standard tuning, we were using a tuning where that interval was consistent between all the strings of the guitar. So let's try to simulate that and see what's the impact. So again, let's start with fretboard. Okay, that's the fretboard. We have the high E, low E, A, D, G, and B, and some frets. Let's copy this. This is the standard tuning, and we copy that to the right here. And let's change that a bit. So instead of using the standard tuning, let's go from G to C in this case. C. Because C is now a perfect fourth away from G. And then instead of E, let's have F, which is also a perfect fourth. So we have perfect fourths between all of them now, 5 semitones away. We're 5 semitones away in all cases. And that means that the patterns we've seen before would be consistent across the whole fretboard. We wouldn't have to think about that transition point and move everything to the right to make things work. And that's a good thing. It simplifies the way you approach the fretboard, but it makes some other things a bit more difficult. To see that, let's try and play a bar chord, an A major bar chord with a standard tuning on the left. So that's the standard tuning, and that's the fourths, perfect fourths tuning. So what an F would look like. So we would have an F here, we would have a C there, an F, an A, a C, and then another F. And this would be your index finger on the first fret. And let's see how the same thing would look like with the fourth tuning on the right. So the top part would remain the same. So you have F, C, another F, another A. But then to be able to play what you need here, you need a C. So you would have to play that open string. And then for the F, you would have to play an open string again. In this case, you can't play a bar chord anymore. You would have to play it in a different way. And that's one of the negatives with a fourth tuning, and that's something that works better with the standard tuning. I don't think there is a right way or a wrong way. There are the conventions that have been there for a long time, and the way people tune their instruments and play them. Would be interesting to see in the comments what works better for you, and if you see any advantages or disadvantages. Apart from that, thank you for watching the video, and see you in the next one.